Um, Today was a not expected day. I think our guys were a little bit flat, a little bit hesitant. Didn't really have a bunch of fight in them, and maybe we're a little bit overconfident because of the work that we're putting in. But we got to get better. So we wrestled some good teams. Pittsburgh came out; they're a good team, and Buffalo's a good team, and even Davidson showed some fight there. But we weren't as good as we anticipated. So we gotta make some adjustments. But good to finish on a high note, get the win. Two guys sitting next to me both won their matches and got it done. So we've got some stuff to build off of. But it's early, so we got some time to do it. But it definitely doesn't feel real good right now. But we'll make it better for sure.
What are some of those changes you make to get that fight and that energy up for the team?
I don't know. I got to figure it out a little bit. It's just there's no. I told the guys you can't teach toughness. So it's got to be some of that where they make the decision. But we can put some situation that they have to push through the limit a little bit more on a regular basis, so it doesn't feel as tough in the competition. Our training should be harder than our competition, so we can pick up the pace and do that a little bit higher level. But yeah, we got to figure out on specific. Everybody's a little bit different, but I think we can definitely make the adjustments.
Yeah. And besides that initial level, I also noticed that throughout the day it seemed like people were getting tired throughout their matches. How do you get everyone's energy up in that scenario and get everyone staying fresh?
Yeah, it's wrestling 3 matches back to back in a shorter period of time. In a tournament, you typically would have a little more recovery time in the matches. So we talk to the guys about their nutrition, and it's really important. Everybody's different. Everybody's body adjusts differently, but so we have to figure out in an event like this. Then we go back to the tournament next week because the Big Tens and NCAAs are similar. We got those multiple matches, so nutrition is important. Figuring that out and just making sure they're taking care of their bodies throughout the week. So when they start getting worn out and get a little stretch, get a little cool down, and take care of it that way. But yeah, I think that the physical piece was more coming out of mental, being a little bit too tight or being too stressed out or trying not to lose instead of trying to win. When it came down to it, but our guys are in great shape. They know they are. Sometimes they get a little bit too caught up in the moment that they don't just relax and wrestle. But that'll happen with time. We'll clear it up.
Tyler, probably describe your matches as high octane, a lot of scoring. What was your mindset coming out today?
I scouted my Pittsburgh guy pretty well. I knew he was going to come up in an underhook, and I have a good headlock, and I was going to go for it. And it worked a few times, but I crashed, and that can't happen.
Lou, you had a really great end to last season, starting from the Midlands, and you just caught fire. And building off of your NCAA performance, where you took out the number 5 seed, what was your mindset going through the off season? And then what are you trying to do?
So my focus was and has been to get better, to improve every day on the things that I'm good at and the things that I'm not as good at. I'd say recently I think I've been maybe focusing on a couple areas that maybe I should give a little less focus to and give more focus to areas I haven't been given as much focus to. I will say for me, on an individual level, what I'm working on in the room is what I'm putting out there, and I'm going to be making a lot of changes. Yeah.
So it's not like wholesale changes, but little tweaks?
Yeah, technical changes.
Coach, when you look at the guys sitting on your right and left, what makes them special and gave them the ability to go 2-0 today?
They went out there and they took advantage of their opportunity. Tyler's really good upper body and put the kid in his back a bunch of times, and it's the new rule this year. We got a 4-point knee fall really helped us out because we put him on his back 3 times, and the old rules it would have been 9 points. This time it was 12 points, so that was the difference. I think we ended up winning by 1 or 2 at the end. So the same thing. And Lewis, Lewis really good. He knows he's really good, and when he goes out there and just wrestles, good things can happen. Sometimes he doesn't believe how good he is, and when that happens, that's when you have those kind of up and down moments. But out there, he didn't feel any. It didn't look like he felt any pressure, any thought that he wasn't going to win the match. It was just a matter of him controlling his emotion, go out there and wrestle 7 minutes. So these guys took advantage of the opportunity. That's really what it came down to: go out there and scoring a lot of points. And for Lou, the kid from Pittsburgh, up until last year, I think that kid was undefeated against him. He broke through and beat him last year in the duel, and then just kind of ran away with it today. He probably could have scored a few more points if he would have been focused a little bit more instead of some of the things that were going on in his head. But guys are getting after it. They're putting in. It's amazing what confidence can do. Tyler knows that he can throw anybody in the country on their back, once, twice, maybe 3 times, and he's going to go for it. And Lou knows that he's really tough to take down. So when guys get to his legs, he's ready to scramble. And both of those situations, majority of the times we get it, sometimes we don't, but they're not afraid to go there. So I think that was a big part of it today.
Lou, you smile as Coach says that you know how good you are, that you have the capabilities to do this, and he's saying that you just need to focus. How do you get that focus and maintain that focus all the time?
Really, I mean, the focus and that confidence comes from, the work we're putting in, and that's why I'm saying that, you just need to tweak a couple things, because, I may have shown a lot of confidence out there in certain situations, but in my main attacks, I need some tweaking in there.
Okay.
I need to change some things.
Coach, for you, obviously last year, Terrapin duels, you wrestle people like, Johns Hopkins and cuts down. This year, you're wrestling Pitt, who was a team that you wrestled last year, Buffalo, which is a pretty good mid-major program. So, what is it like to prep guys for coming out against competition like Pitt? And is it really helpful to get competition like this, even though the conditioning base isn't quite there yet? Is it helpful to get really strong programs like Pitt and Buffalo this early on in the year? Yeah,
no question. I mean, again, like I said, our guys are in great shape. They've been working hard. We've got a long season to iron out the technical things, but I can say arguably that we've had the best early season preparation that we've had since I've been here, as far as the work that the guys have put in. What we have to do is get that work to translate into competition. It's only our second week for most of these guys that got to compete. We still got some guys that haven't got a chance to compete yet. So next weekend, everybody's going to compete in that open tournament, and it's a work in progress. So it's very similar to anything you start off. You can talk about it, but until the guys actually go through it. So the work that we're putting in, I guarantee these guys will go back and they look at their matches, and they're going to be disappointed because they know that they could have done better. And it wasn't because they weren't tired. They thought they were tired, but they weren't. They didn't get beat in positions. They thought they could, got beat. But if you go back and look at it, they were in the right position. It was just that little bit of toughness that would have gotten the difference of, fighting through a takedown, fighting through an escape, fighting through getting off the bottom, whatever. But I think it's important to start off because, yeah, we could have wrestled a lower level competition and, built a little false sense of security and then rolled into the next couple of weeks. But the idea is now they know, these are, decent programs, but they're not Iowa, they're not Penn State, they're not Oklahoma State, they're not the top teams in the country. And, and we were there. And just we end up losing. So so it's good to start off this way, and it sets a tone because it's only going to get tougher from here. And so the guys have to understand if they're not focused on putting the work and what's necessary in, it's going to be more of the same. So I take responsibility as a coach and make sure these guys have a blueprint to what they need to do, and they have to follow it. So it's a cooperative effort. We have shared responsibility in making sure that we're the best that we can be. I'm confident we'll be there.
What did you think of Dawson Peck's performance today?
I was not as impressed as I would have had hoped to be. Dawson has the potential to be very successful, and he's got some mental things he's got to work on. But it was finally good to get him to this level. After waiting a full year, get him in, wearing a singlet, and going out there competing. But he's got to believe a little bit more, and he's got to push himself a little bit more outside of competition to make sure he's got the right mindset. He believes he's one of the best guys in the country. But he has to put the work behind it to build that confidence, just like the rest of our guys. Doesn't matter how hard you work if you don't believe in what you're doing. And I think that's where he's got to get better at. He's wrestling names, wrestling singlets, different things like that we have to fix. It's a situation where this guy, he might have wrestled him last year, he might have wrestled him the year before. I didn't get beat by this guy, or this guy beat this guy, they beat this guy, and it all goes that. So we've got to break that. But it's good to have him out there, good to have him in competition, and raise the bar for him a little bit, and we'll have some good things by the end of the year.
Obviously, a team changes over the course of the season as they build confidence, and you guys wrestle matches. But for the two of you, is there any kind of difference that you notice in the mentality of the team to start this season than there was last year?
Yeah. Well, we're better, and we're going to keep getting better, and we just got to tweak a couple things, get a little tougher, stay a little more focused for some guys, and we're just going to keep moving up. Honestly, like this, may not have been as great of a performance as we would have liked today, but the work that we're putting in is beginning to show, and we're going to keep climbing.
And we all saw Baby J go out there and win his two matches. Did you like what you saw out of him today?
I did. I mean, that first match against Ricciardo, that guy's really good. He's an ACC champ last year, won 49, NCAA qualifier, a match or two away from being an All-American at the weight class above. So for him to get down, and it was amazing that he went down there and for him to be able to compete. And so Baby J go out there and get after him against a really tough guy was good. His second match, he didn't open up as much. Again, I don't know what the behind-the-scenes deal's going on with him. He got the win, which that's what ultimately comes down to. But getting your hand raised, and I think he could have opened up a little bit more, performed a little bit better in that second match. But maybe the emotions of the first match kind of wore him out, and he just got the W. But yeah, it's exciting to get him out there. Finally, after all the time waiting for him, he's finally out there and representing Maryland. And being an in-state kid, it's even more exciting for the program. So he's gonna push all these guys, and they're gonna push him. And at the end of the year, we'll see some big things from this crew.
And then in the final match against Davidson, you sent out Billy Rappo to wrestle out there, and he got a big pin there. Can you walk me through that and your thoughts there?
Yeah, so basically, we designed this workout. Again, everything is practiced. No matter what competition, we're all getting prepared for the end of the year. So want to give those guys a chance to compete. We weighed in a bunch of extra guys, give them a chance to compete and go out there and see how they're going to do. So it was a chance for Bill. Bill, remember wrestle-off, him and Baby J had a great match, and Bill's got a lot of talent, so we wanted him to get a chance to put the single on, wrestle in front of the home crowd, and get going. And he did a good job. So we'll give different people opportunity to compete so they can get their feet wet a little bit, and also keep those number one guys ready, because none of them want to give up matches, none of them want to let anybody else go out there and compete. So they pick up the level a little bit, and that's going to raise that competitiveness in the room. So it's good for Billy to get out there and some other guys to get some matches in, and we'll keep on getting those guys experience. And then when it's time for competition, all those guys know that they're ready to go.
That's all I got.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.